Hi there, and welcome to our How to Use Item Master Data Records in Financials 365 video. Today, we're going to take you through how to import Inventory Master Data Records in Financials. In this video, we are going to show you how to provide your initial Flash Finance fields for the item card, show you how they are populated, and how you can add your posting fields, dimension fields, and other additional fields. In particular, we are going to demonstrate examples of adding a base unit of measure, sales unit of measure, purchase unit of measure, and the unit of measure table, where you can add multiple units of measure. By now you should already understand what a configuration package is by watching our Introduction to Flash Master Data video. The following slide shows three different tiers of item master data. The first column shows Flash included fields. These fields are already provided by Financials to be filled in by the customer. The next column is dimensions and posting groups, otherwise known as our setup fields. This includes two global dimensions, the general business, GST business, and item posting groups. The third column is for additional fields. An example of commonly used additional fields would be description 2, which can be used for an extended description that does not show up on the printed documents, base unit of measure, item discount group, vendor number, and the sales and purchase units of measure. Please note that if the customer or partner wishes to upload additional fields, to do so after uploading everything that's been covered in this video. It's also important to be aware when uploading master data records that when adding additional fields that all the related tables need to have values. For example, if you're adding an additional field, you need to add the relevant additional tables required and populate that data first prior to uploading the item table itself. This is so that the values are already in Financials and can be linked using the relation table IDs. In this example, we are actually uploading the related tables, in this case the unit of measure tables, and then uploading the initial item table with those related fields included. To begin the process for importing item master data, log into Financials 365. Today, we're going to be in our demo company, Lucy's Lemonade. Next, use the universal search function to find and select the configuration packages. Here we can see a list containing the correct config package required, FlashFin. Select the FlashFin config package from the list. Then, select the relevant table you wish to populate. In this case, highlight Table 27 Item, and then select the number of included fields from the list. This is showing us the fields that are currently included in the table. From here we can see a list of the default fields that come out of the box ticked. If we jump back and click on Number of Fields Available, here we can specify what fields we wish to be included for our data, by including specific fields that may be required for importing the legacy data of the business. The fields that we tick are the fields which will be exported to Excel to be populated with the data and brought back into the system. It's important that if you need additional fields that may be from the legacy system, to specify it here first prior to exporting the file. As we mentioned earlier, you have what are known as additional fields for items the customer may want to create themselves. For this example, let's add the fields costing method, base unit of measure, sales unit of measure, and the purchase unit of measure. You will notice that each of these fields have a relation table ID. This table number refers to a separate table that is linked by the common field item number. For this example, table 204, this table needs to be added to the config package as mentioned earlier and should be imported prior to populating the item table unless you are applying the configuration package and all the tables within as a whole. Click Edit List in the ribbon and select the additional fields required. Let's also select the costing method field. Next, hop back to the config package and add the related table for unit of measure to the FlashFin config package to export and populate. When we upload this additional unit of measure table, this information will be added to the item card using the relation table ID 204 that we saw in the item table, along with a key identifier, which would be the item number. As we saw in our last video, if there is an additional field that you need to add to the records, you can do so by exporting the key identifier number and the additional field required alone and populate the tables and re-import back into the system. This will simply add this additional field onto the existing records. Once all the relevant tables and fields you wish to populate have been selected, click on Export to Excel from the Actions menu in the ribbon. Select Yes. Open the file in Excel, and you'll now see the template for item data ready to be input. You can manually key in this data or paste it from existing business records that you may have from the legacy system. If you discover any additional fields should be required, you'll have to add the additional fields in Financials and re-export the file. Next, populate the data into the table. It's important that you stay within the character limits of each column field and that no changes to the columns or layouts are to be made. All the populated records may be cut short or result in the file not being imported correctly when importing the populated spreadsheet back into Financials. Here's a template I populated earlier. This has the additional tables and fields for our items added. We can see the item's costing method, base unit of measure, sales unit of measure, and purchase unit of measure. If you'd like to find out more information on each costing method, please refer to the Costing Methods page on the Help server. We can leave the other tables blank and still import the file. Once you have input your data, save this file and close Excel. To import the master data back into Financials from the populated Excel template, go back into Financials and select Import from Excel in the Actions ribbon. Next, select the Item Master Data Excel file you've just saved and click OK and say Yes. Once you have imported the file, you'll see the number of package records has changed. It has now populated all of the data values. These are the entries we wish to input. Select Validate Package in the Actions ribbon to determine if you have introduced any errors, such as not including tables that the configuration relies on. For example, if we had specified a sales unit of measure in the item table without actually adding the linked unit of measure table with the required values relied upon. From here we can see a number of errors appear. Click on the number of package errors in the tables list to view the data being imported, and then click Show Error from the ribbon to see any errors and check that the data is not corrupted. If an error exists, hovering over the record like this will display the error message in full. Here we can see that this item record requires the unit of measure pieces. This was added to the unit of measure table already, so we don't have to worry, as once the package is applied with the unit of measure table pieces, these errors will disappear. Let's apply the individual unit of measure table, where you can see 23 package records will override the number of existing database records. Now, let's apply the package as a whole. We can see that there are still 6 remaining errors. If we drill in to investigate further, you'll see that we've left off the table for item unit of measure. This table is crucial because it specifies the units of measure that are set up for an item so that you can assign units of measure to the item for the following purposes. Assigning a base unit of measure on the item's item card to define how it is stored in inventory and to serve as the conversion basis for alternative units of measure, and assigning alternate units of measure to purchase, production, or sales documents to specify how many units of the base unit of measure you can handle at a time in those processes. For example, you may buy the items on pallets and use single pieces in your production. Let's quickly add this table to our config package. Export the individual table, and populate the missing data like so. Here you can see a number of examples where an item has different measurements based on the unit of measure code from table 204. As these units of measure are based on each item number, you can see you can have multiple units of measure that can be specified for each period of time during the item's life cycle. For example, we can specify that an item was purchased in a box and sold in pieces, or it was purchased in pallets and sold in pieces. Let's save this table and import to financials. Once you are happy with the data and there are no errors, you can then apply the data and it will be imported into the system. You can either apply each of the tables one by one, as per our video on customer master data, in which case you would be applying the units of measure table prior to the item table. However, in this example, we will apply the package as a whole. Select Apply Data in the ribbon, and your item details are now in the system. Financials will even tell you what time it was imported. Select Database Data to confirm the records imported. As the population of master data is done using Excel, it's easy to re-export and re-import the tables if any changes are required to be made, such as correcting errors from information that was input incorrectly or incorrect fields being selected and/or populated. Review of data and data cleansing is best conducted outside Financials 365 to allow full collaboration between the relevant parties. It's important to mention that the customer would usually take on master data themselves, and anything outside of what's in the FlashVin config package would naturally extend the timeline of the customer's go live. The customer should refer to the Inclusions and Exclusions document available on our website, or speak to their partner about what's included in Flash. And that was how to use vendor master data records within Financials 365.